In your opinion, does this count as a hot rod still?
Yeah, it's a hot rod, man. It's how
Absolutely.
fast, yeah, how far can you go and how fast can you get there? So that's still hot rodding. No matter what motor's in it, that's what all hot rodders will say. It's like, look, how fast will it go? It looks great, looks like a street rod, looks like a custom car. How far? That's the number one question is how far will it go? And
Yeah.
then, of course, how fast?
How fast?
That's right.
Right on. Well, Dan, thanks for sitting down with me today on this episode of the Next Great Car Era. And you're with Southfield Classics over outside of Atlanta, right?
Yes, sir. 3 years.
3 years with Southfield, but your career with cars has gone back many years before that in many areas of the industry, if I recall correctly.
Yep, you're correct. So, 38 years in the industry now, pretty much every aspect. I was a painter for 9 years, painted cars. I was a mechanic for 7 or 8 years, turning wrenches at a dealership, did electrical there. And then I was an upholstery technician. So I've done everything bumper to bumper, spread out over the last 38 years.
How do you find the industry changing or not changing over 38 years? Is it just as exciting today as it used to be, or
There for a little while, there was, I've done it for so long that I was kind of, I guess, burnt out on everything. Since I've came to work here at Southfield, it's been kind of a rejuvenation of my career and my love for the automobile. Changed a few things in my thinking, and the industry overall has changed tremendously. It was always gas burner, and now we're getting a lot more of attention on the electric vehicles for sure.
and one of the really unique things that you guys do at Southfield is you're actually building brand new classic cars, EPA certified, and we're going to talk a lot more about that. But on a personal note, did you ever think you would be leading and innovating in the EV space like this?
Not in a million years. When I started, so I closed the business down. One of my businesses down. It was pretty successful. I was doing upholstery, and I just happened to answer an ad for a service manager's job. When we did the interview, he told me he waited till the end to tell me that it was electric vehicles.
Hmm.
So I was kind of shocked and taken aback. I didn't wasn't 100% certain I wanted to do it, but after thinking about it for a few days. I was like, well, look, this is new innovation. This is something new. This is something I haven't done before. We're going to mix some of the stuff that I've learned over my career and put it into a new and innovative platform. The next stage of it, basically, from with my boss, was basically we want to be a manufacturer. We don't want to be just a retrofitter. So that kind of changed my outlook on how I wanted to approach it.
Yeah, that is very cool and very unique. Starting at that beginning stage when you were just jumping right into it, what was your biggest misconception about EVs and building EVs?
So I'd never actually ridden in an electric vehicle before I started working here. It's that same stigma that they all say, well, they're just environmental friendly. There's no performance to it. And, I'd heard about some of the Tesla things that have been, high performance and fast and the torque specs on a lot of them. So once I got in here and actually got my hands in, the first project was to get one on the road and get it to where it was drivable so we could test everything and make sure it does what everybody claims it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
And then once driving them, uh, it's really hard to describe. It's like driving a roller coaster. So it really changes your perspective. The only thing that you miss is the hot rod sound, but all the other things, it checks all the other boxes with the performance, the torque, the speed, handling, all those things, all those boxes are checked. So yeah, it's different from what I had been doing for many, many years, but it's also something crazy and crazy new, crazy fun.
Yeah, which is exciting.
Mhm.
Let's jump right into the SC4T. SC is for Southfield Classics, right? And most people would recognize looking at that car as a GT40 replica.
Correct.
So, have you driven that car? What's it like getting into a GT40 replica that is EV?
It is pretty crazy, pretty incredible. So first of all, GT40s are notorious. They're small cars. They're hard to get in and out of. Once you get in it, you're basically laying inside the car, which is typical of a GT40. But the acceleration for the electric, so we do a rear drive unit on these GT40s, has about 1,200 foot-pounds of torque.
Wow.
short axles. The axles are only about 18 inches long on each side. So it actually it pulls tons and tons of torque. So it's like a jet airplane taking off. When
Hmm.
you accelerate and you hit the acceleration on it, it will actually set you back in the seat like you're taking off in a jet. And I tell everybody, it's like once you ride in it, you will think it's going to take off. It's like if it had wings, it would probably fly.
So, what does it have under the hood to get you there?
So we
Starting with maybe
use
like the motor or
Yeah, so we
controller.
use Cascadia Motion Motors, which is a division of Borg Warner. We're using in what's called an IDM 190, which is it sits sideways in the back. Basically, it's 300 horsepower, about 1,200 foot-pounds of torque. It runs a transaxle in it. It's already attached to it.
Okay.
Like I said, it has short axles, about 18 inches long on each side, so it'll push pretty wide tires. Then we run the Ampere EV battery pack system. It's the Atom Drive system that they offer. It's a three-pack system, which offers up about 150-mile range, which equivalent to about 20 laps on about a mile and a half lap on a mile and a half track. So we can get about 20 laps before we have to charge. GT40s that we build, it has a Freon chiller to keep the battery packs cool, so you can hammer them on pretty fast.
Hmm.
Top speed right now is around 160, 165, 170 miles an hour.
Wow.
0 to 60s are about 3 seconds, 3.2 seconds. So give or take. So it's very fast, super fast track car. Our prototype car that we built now is very good handling. And it gives you that sensation that you're driving a GT40, except you don't have the noise. So it's for a lot of drivers, it's kind of disorienting because you don't have to shift and you don't have that motor noise to gauge how you're accelerating and decelerating. So it's a different driving experience for sure on the track.
What sort of motorsport heritage and experience are you guys bringing to Southfield Classics to be able to even build something like that?
So our owner is actually a Ferrari Challenge driver. He runs the 296 Challenge car this year. Last year he ran 488. So we've all been in the car business for, many, many years. Track wise, our main builder, our fabricator out there for our new chassis for the GTs, he's been doing it for 20 years. So we've got plenty of track experience. Our shop is actually just 15 minutes from Road Atlanta here outside of Atlanta, Georgia. So we're right there at the track. We're part of the club, track club. So we get out to test and we do everything at the track. So
So when you were building this car, were you guys benchmarking it against another GT40, or were there some other cars that you were benchmarking against?
no, what we decided is that we were going to make it electric, of course, and then we're going to see what it would do. We're going to say, all right, let's put it all together, let's build it, and let's actually see what the performance is like. We don't
Yeah.
use any, like test, any other kind of systems. So we're trying to prove out the system that we have, which is Cascadia Motion and all that. So we weren't they have, of course, all these engineering diagrams, and this is what the torque curve is going to be, and this is what it's going to react at 60 miles an hour or 90 miles an hour. We took those and we said, okay, well, let's see if we can duplicate that in real life. Number one, which is a big deal for all the race guys, like, look, it looks good on paper, but does it actually perform?
Yeah.
So what we want to do is say, all right, let's take this and let's take it out and track it and see if it actually performs as they say. It ended up actually doing a lot better than what they had predicted, uh,
Really?
with a lot more torque than what they expected. Our torque curves, because of the weight ratio, weight to torque ratio and speed ratio, it actually ended up being a lot faster than what they expected.
How heavy is the car?
So the car's 2,100 pounds.
Ooh, that's light.
Yeah, super light. Super light, and like I said, it's a GT40 replica, so it has the aerodynamics. Those are some of the things. Like now, we're building some splitters to help hold it on the track a little bit better, to try to address some of those sliding issues and traction issues that we have because of the weight of the vehicle.
But it already must handle the corners pretty well, which is great for an EV. They tend to be chunky.
Correct. This one, because of the weight distribution and how the battery packs are actually set in the vehicle and the motor, the wheelbase, how we scaled it out, everything is pretty much built to handle. We use some suspension components that allow for good travel under that body, which is like I said, it's a smaller body, but it actually handles really well.
Was there something in this build that was actually pretty easy, but you were prepared for it to be hard?
On both the trucks and the GT, it was what we found out is that the battery packs that the Ampere EV provides are the same weight as basically a fully dressed 350 Chevrolet motor.
Really?
So the weight is the same. Um, so like on the GT, where the motor was actually behind your, the or over the rear wheels or right behind the driver, we were able to put the battery packs there and it actually weighed and scaled out just like a normal GT40 would. So that was surprisingly a lot easier than we had planned. We thought we were going to have to do a lot more development in that area, but it actually turned out that it making some brackets, some bracketries, designing some brackets, stuff like that was all pretty simple comparatively.
I love getting lucky like that.
Yeah, we got very lucky.
So this car, if someone was to ask you, like, who is it really for? How do you envision people using that car? What is your vision for people who have this GT40 replica?
So for the GT40 replica, basically we're going to offer two versions. So we have the track version, which you can buy the strictly a track car that you can take out on vintage track days, run around your local track, like if you're near Road Atlanta or whatever. Drag cars, so they're super fast straightaway cars. But we're also doing a street version as well. So our vision is to have a track vehicle and a street vehicle one you could drive every day, show off to your buddies, and then take it out on the track whenever you want to. So.
Oh, that sounds like the perfect weekend warrior right there.
That's it. That's what we're looking for.
So when you were first developing the GT40, were you already thinking about getting that EPA certification from the get-go?
Well, it all started with the truck. So the 3100 Chevrolets that we're doing, the SC31Ts, our total
Like
goal
right
from the
behind you.
yeah, which is right behind me. The total goal from the beginning for us was we didn't want to be a retrofitter. Like I said, I've been in the business for a long time as a builder. What we wanted to be was a manufacturer. And what that requires, basically, that you have to use all new parts for everything. Everything has to be brand new. The body parts, the frame, chassis components, everything on it has to be brand new. All part of that EPA certification process. Those are things that NHTSA requires. So you have to have the EPA certification, the range test on your electric motor to find out exactly how far it goes with the battery packs that you have installed with it. So our initial thought process was, all right, well let's do it this way. Instead of trying to find a GT40, an original GT40, or try to find a 1950 Chevrolet truck that we don't have to spend thousands of hours doing the body work. Let's just build them from scratch and make them brand new. We were able to acquire from a company the molds to do the fiberglass bodies for the GT40, something that I
Wow.
found when I first came on here. So we were able to acquire that portion of it. That gives us the GT40 body that is a replica and it's a certified replica body. And then the chassis for us on the GTs and on the trucks, basically, we build them from scratch. We get the tubing
Wow.
in, the chromoly tubing for the GT40s. The initial prototype was all aluminum chassis on that, all aluminum frame that we built from scratch. And we put them all together that way. So for the EPA and for the certification, to be NHTSA certified, to be able to issue VIN numbers, we have to do everything brand new.
From a car fan perspective, that's really interesting, and you get the brand new parts, and you don't have to deal with things, the remediation of an old car. But what do you think from a brand new consumer who's maybe not a gearhead? What does that EPA number mean for them when they're just looking to buy a car?
Yeah, I mean, if they're looking for something cool that they can take to the car shows, that they don't have to worry about, the gas burner problems, that it don't start when you turn the key. It leaks oil everywhere, or you have to constantly tune to make sure that it's going to run properly. If you got to go, 100 miles or whatever to a car show, 100 miles and back to a car show, you've got to, tune it and change the way that the airflow mixture is if you're going at altitude. With an electric vehicle, electric resto mod, electric GT, basically it's get it and go.
Hmm.
You drive it, you get to your destination, you show your car, you come back home, you pull it, you plug it up, and you're done. It's basically what I say, wash and go.
Wash and go.
That's right. So for a lot of consumers that are out there now, and a lot of your hot rod guys, they're getting a little bit older now. The guys that we built them all. Like for me, I built them my whole life. Now I'm at the age where I drive that truck and I'm like, you know what? This still feels like a 1950 resto mod truck, but it rides like a brand new car. So it's really cool.
Walk us through that process a little bit of like how you started going through getting that EPA certification. How did you guys even get going?
So we basically followed the replica car law to the letter. Basically,
Okay.
when I was hired on, like I said, we decided right away we wanted to be a manufacturer. Then the question became, okay, how do we do that? What are the steps involved in how to do that? The first thing was to get our NHTSA certification, basically the safety programs, and basically go through the replica car law with a fine-tooth comb and see exactly what we had to do. It actually leads you down the road. For the electric vehicle, it's a little bit different. For gas cars, you have to meet certain EPA regulations for, chemicals in the air, stuff like that. With the electric vehicle, because it doesn't produce any emissions, it's basically just range. Uh,
Hmm.
Part of NHTSA's certification process, some of the paperwork that I had for NHTSA is I had to have an EPA range test, which is basically, so we had to find out, okay, how do I get an EPA range test? Because, there's very few electric car companies in the United States. How did Tesla go about it when they first started out? Or how did, Lucid or Rivian start? How did they find out how they need to get their EPA range test done? So we did a lot of in-depth research on the back end of that, and SEMA, what we found out was SEMA Garage actually offered it through their Detroit SEMA Garage.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I got into talks with them and said, hey, can you do it? They had never done it before. We were the first ones to actually have an EPA range test done at SEMA Garage in Detroit. So got together and we basically took the truck there, allowed them to do the range test all and go through all of the things that the EPA asked for a range test. Got all the data back on it. Basically submitted to NHTSA, get all our certifications going. The whole process took about 11 months, back and forth with government agencies. A lot of times, and I don't know if you're aware, but if you're dealing with the government, this guy don't know what this guy's doing for the most part. So you have to go through NHTSA, and then you have to go through EPA, then you have to go through ASC to get a certification letter, to get your world index number. So the whole process is time consuming, a lot of treading water, a lot of spinning on the squirrel wheel until I finally got everything kind of gathered up and right in line for us to issue the VIN numbers. So
11 months feels like it's screaming fast. I got a custom license plate
yeah,
submitted so that it says EVTUNERS, and that was 9 months to get it in
yeah.
the mail.
So and what I tell my boss is, and when he hired me, and I think that's part of the reason why he hired me, is that if I'm all in, I'm pedal to the floor, hammer to the nail. I want to keep going until I achieve what I need to achieve. And a lot of these, especially dealing with the government agencies, it's a lot of hounding them. You know what I'm saying? Staying on them on a regular basis, making sure they know who you are. If you just file the paper, let the paper sit there, a lot of times it can get filed away. So it's a lot of on the phone, on the computer, emailing, all the good things.
Yeah. Was there a moment where it started feeling real when you got maybe a moment of celebration?
Yeah, I mean, because we got our EPA certification and our NHTSA, everything put together. It all came together right before SEMA of last year. We had shown at SEMA in 2023. We had shown our cars. We had a few out there. We had the GT, we had the trucks, and we were just kind of fledgling. We were like the second year in. This is what we want to do. This is how we're doing it. Last year, right there before SEMA show, I think it was November 1st, I got the actual EPA paper with all our certifications. So it was like, all right, this is a real deal now. Now we are actually a licensed manufacturer in the United States, and ended up being the first replica car manufacturer for electric vehicles in the United States. So that was when it says, okay, now we got to build cars and now we got to sell them.
Now you got to get to work.
We got to get to work.
What we're ultimately getting towards in the truck is that SC31T behind you. But the test mule, the development of that was under a truck you guys called the SC EV1.
Correct.
When you guys were getting going, did you have one already?
So they
Or
had
someone in the
purchased,
shop have one?
right. So they had purchased the truck right before I was hired.
Okay.
So they basically pulled it out of a field here in Georgia, Southfield actually. That's why the company's called Southfield Classics. But it was an original body 1950 Chevrolet truck that sat out in a farmer's field for a while. When I came on, it was basically already torn apart. They had it all tore apart, and they didn't have a direction. Basically, we want to do this, but we don't know which way to go. So that first year that I was hired on, we actually went to SEMA, and my assistant manager was actually out. Basically, we went to look for a battery manufacturer, somebody could supply us with a kit. We had worked with a company previous, or they had worked with a company previous to me getting there, and didn't have anything but troubles. They couldn't deliver on what they had ordered, basically.
Ah,
So long story short, we're at SEMA and we meet up with Ampere EV. They actually had a booth at SEMA that year. We got to talking to them. Come to find out, they're 30 minutes down. They're 45 minutes away from where we were at shop here in Georgia.
dang.
We're like, hey, shop, we didn't know you were there. Um, so they provided us with a system that first year for the patina truck. We took the body from that 1950 and wet sanded, left the patina on it, left the rust on it, and we actually put that body on a roaster shop chassis, and then made all of our battery mounts and motor mounts, and basically made it like our test vehicle. Okay, you say, and Ampere EV, just like all of them, they say, okay, you're going to get this amount of horsepower, you're going to get this amount of torque, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, and I'm a skeptic. I'm like, yeah, okay, you say that, and it looks good, but let's put it in something and actually make it roll and let's see what we can do. By the time we got it all together, it did exactly what they said it was going to do. It had 300 horsepower, pretty relatively, not to say simple, but making a lot of parts, making everything fit into the truck. But testing wise, it tested out magnificent. I mean, it was crazy. We're still driving it today. We still got it out there. It's got like 5,000, 6,000 miles on it. We take it to the shows all the time. So it's our test mule that we say, okay, let's see how long it'll last before something breaks. And then we go from there.
The next phase of the test.
That's right. That's right.
What are the components in that truck? What do they look like? What do you got?
So it's got a Cascadia Motion IM 225,
Mm,
which actually runs a torque trans torque box, which is 1.9 to 1 ratio, has a drive shaft, has a 4 9-inch rear end, Mustang 2 front suspension. That one's coilover shocks. Like I said, it's on a roaster shop chassis, so it's on a competition chassis. Uh, so the actual Cascadia Motion IM 225 actually fit where the transmission tunnel would go on a normal car. So, like I said, we were able to run a drive shaft with a torque box. I mean, it's got 18-inch tires on it. It's fast. It'll smoke the freaking tires off just about anywhere you take it. So, it's really quick and it's a good truck. It's reliable. We haven't had any issues. Slight little minor things from here, but usually you can get into it and just drive it.
what about fast charging? Do these trucks and cars fast charge?
So every EV system does offer, fast charging. So it comes as part of their initial kit. So when you buy the kit, you have capability of fast charging. So for us on a regular 240, which is like a dryer plug, the standard charger, it takes about 4 hours to charge it. Fast charger, it takes like 15 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a big jump, big difference, but they're compatible with fast charging. They use Tesla chargers too. So with our trucks, it's pretty much get in it and go. You can use whatever charger. You got a 110 charger if you need to. It'll charge overnight. So pretty much Ampere was really good about making sure that they gave you every option available as far as charging goes. And these trucks, like I said, the patina truck it has a range and it's been range tested with EPA. That's what part of our certification is. You get about 160 miles on the charge. For a show truck, if you're going to take it around to the shows, showing back 160 miles, that's actually pretty well.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
What is the kilowatt hour on the Ampere EV packs?
So they're 42 kilowatt hours. That's on the 3-pack system. We do have an 84 kilowatt hour, which is a 6-pack system, is get 300-mile range on it. It's actually on one of our next iterations. We've got a Suburban, 1950 Suburban, that we're doing as our next test mule for the 6-pack setup.
That's pretty decent range for that pack size, though,
Yeah, and
especially with
it's
a truck.
correct. Like I said, the pack size on the trucks, it all fits under the hood. So you got 3 battery packs, 42 kilowatts that fit under the hood, just like a regular motor. The weight of the vehicle is exactly the same as what it was in 1950. So it's 3,600 pounds. That's what they weighed. That's what they scale out now. So you're really not changing a lot of the vehicle. You're not reinventing the wheel, basically. I mean, you're making a resto mod out of it, and you're just putting electric components in it.
So this the patina truck, that was the first EV that you ever drove that we were
Correct.
talking about earlier when you said it was like on rails.
Correct.
And
It
it's
is.
still fun.
It's still fun, man. So the inside of the truck, because we left it kind of original, it's like driving a 1950 truck. You just have all of the modern amenities. So you look down and you're doing 90, and you're going, man, I shouldn't be doing 90 in a 1950 truck, And it still has. We left basically the cab is the same, so it still has the rattles and all of the old 1950 stuff. So you still feel like you're driving a 1950 truck, but it's quieter and a lot faster.
Do you have cruise control?
It does. That one doesn't have cruise control. The red truck, the new trucks do. Uh,
Very important.
yeah, the the patina truck, we left off some of those high end features just so we could test everything.
Yeah.
Uh, but all the new trucks, the SC31Ts, it's got cruise, regen braking, idle creep, so it feels like it's a regular car creeping at the line. So yeah, it's got three different modes. So you got eco mode, normal, and then you've got fast mode, basically.
If someone comes today and is ready to buy, that's what they're going to be getting is that SC31T.
Yep. Unless they request a patina truck, we're only going to do probably a couple of those patinas a year, and it's going to be special request or limited edition.
Okay.
The only thing that they'll be all new except for the body. With the SC31Ts, they're all brand new. Basically, with those, you can come in, you can say, hey, I want that truck. You get to pick your color, you get to pick your interior, you get to pick your tire and wheel package, you get to pick your wood floor color. You basically can build your resto mod truck. It's just going to have electric components.
Are there any electrical components that are different between the test patina truck and the production 31T?
Not a lot. We have changed our heads up display unit, or it's called a GUI for us. It's more modern. The original patina truck, and we've hidden a lot of the components. So under the hood of the SC31Ts, it's pretty clean. All you basically see is the battery box, and it's nice and dressed out, painted and all that. On the patina truck, the original truck, we had the components under the hood, so that Ampere EV, so you could actually see their system. For a little while there, they used it as their advertisement. Basically, this is our system in this truck, and you could be able to see it. But a lot of that now we've hidden away.
Where does the bigger battery pack factor in? Is that something that is going to be an option down the road?
Correct. So that's an option because it's going to be for 2026.
Okay.
The bigger battery pack, we've designed our own, basically a skateboard platform for Ampere EV system, and we use the Cascadia. So these trucks with the bigger battery pack set up, the 84 kilowatt system, it'll actually have a rear drive motor in the back of it. So we've actually made a truck where the motor goes underneath the bed, so you still have a full size bed. We didn't have to tub it or do anything like that. Change the height of the bed. Those trucks are fully air ride, so they have air ride all the way around. A skateboard platform, so you got three battery packs that are under the cab, and then the other three that stay under the hood. So
In your opinion, does this count as a hot rod still?
yeah, it's a hot rod, man. It's how
Absolutely.
fast, yeah, how far can you go and how fast can you get there? So that's still hot rodding. No matter what motor's in it, that's what all hot rodders will say is like, look, how fast will it go? It looks great, looks like a street rod, looks like a custom car. How far, that's the number one question is how far will it go? And
Yeah.
then, of course, how fast?
How fast?
That's right.
Do you guys have pricing information on this stuff on your website, or is there too many variables with all of the customization that you have that you really need to kind of get into what the build looks like first?
Correct. So we have a baseline price that we go off of. So our base truck, and then basically it goes up from there. Some of the components are standard components. Basically, on a standard truck, you can pick your interior color, you can pick your exterior color, and your tire and wheel size. So they're customizable, but we still kind of keep that price range in the same sort of area between the trucks. Now the six pack, the bigger 84 kilowatt system, it's going to be a little bit more than the 42 kilowatt system for sure.
Oh yeah,
But not, I mean, you're looking about 10 or $15,000 more for the more kilowatt hours. So
that's not bad.
no.
Not bad
And
at all.
what we've just understood is that so to build a nice high-end resto mod car, we're right in line with the pricing of that. So if you were going to take your Chevelle to Bubba's Garage down the road, and he's going to build you a resto mod with an LS and all the fancy bells and whistles and all the stuff that are going to make it reliable, then you're going to spend around the same amount of money as what you're going to buy one of our trucks for. The good thing about us is we're having about a 6 month turnaround. So if you come drop a deposit, 6 months, you can pick your truck up and it'll be completed, and you'll be able to drive it wherever you want to go.
I think that's a really important part of this EV story right now that doesn't get talked about as much as it deserves, is that people talk about the price differentials, but if you're looking for a performance car or you're looking for a full resto mod, that's not something that's rolling off the line that you're buying at a dealership. There's already a premium there. And then it actually starts to balance out pretty closely. And maybe the EVs, you're benefiting from that lower maintenance and the less headaches.
Correct. And like with the GT40s, that's a high-end car anyway. I mean, how many, who's going to be able to go out and buy an original GT40, $1 million, million and a half for an original GT40? What we're offering is basically a replica GT40 that you can get in and drive everywhere for a third of that price, right? And it's reliable. And all you basically have to do is get in, drive it, and plug it up. So that's kind of how you you weigh the pros and cons. Yeah, it'd be great to have that original GT40. I'd love to have one, but I don't have 1.5 million to drop.
And if you did, would you want to drive it?
Yeah, you would. I mean, it would be so hard for me to drive a car of that value. Yeah, because the fear of driving it, and
Yeah.
then I'm sure where you're at, the local traffic, it's not a car that you would take out on the street in local traffic. With our electric GTs, basically you get in it, you can drive it anywhere, and you can show it off anywhere. So it's all good.
That reminded me of another question with some of the NHTSA certification and the EPA certification. Did you guys have to create cars to get crash tested, or how did that all work?
So because we're part of the replica car law in the United States, as long as we are building a replica of an existing vehicle, then we have to follow the guidelines that existed at the time of that build.
Interesting.
So I have a sticker that has to be mounted on the vehicles that basically say, hey, this is a replica vehicle. It does not have the same safety requirements as a modern vehicle.
But did you guys make some decisions in the new components that you were using that maybe give these an edge probably over something that really is from the 50s?
Correct. So what we've basically done is we redesigned the frames to be stronger. So our frame and suspension systems are more modern than what
Hmm.
they were in 1950. Our springs, our brake systems, we got power brakes all the way around, power disc brakes. So we've upgraded all your brake systems. So you got more modern braking, which is, of course, a lot safer.
Yeah.
A lot of the body components that are on it, they're reinforced. So we go inside and we reinforce. So we build the whole entire body ourselves. They send us stamp parts and we assemble it. So we were able, because we do that, is we go in there and add reinforcement when there wasn't before to make it a little bit stronger.
So it is a replica that maybe is a little better even.
Yeah, what we like to say is we take that original truck and we tweak it. We make it turn up the volume just a little bit, make it a
Hmm.
little bit better than what it was originally, a little bit safer, a little bit more drivable than it was back in 1950.
I love that. So you said in 2026 is going to be the SC31T with the larger battery pack, but it really sounds like this is the beginning of what you guys have planned at Southfield Classics. Is there anything else you can talk about that's on the horizon for people?
We've got several projects that we're working on for the coming year, probably 27, 20, into 26, into 27. We're going to do an all-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, full-size truck, probably that body style from the early 70s.
Oh,
We've already got it
cool.
on the drawing board. We've already started some of the CAD designs and some of the CAD drawings for the frames and chassis. And we're also looking at doing a convertible, probably a Chevelle, somewhere along that lines. Right now, what we do is with our trucks, we buy certified GM parts. So basically, General Motors says, "Hey, this part we certify it. It's a good General Motors replica part." So what we try to do is use the genuine GM parts. So that's why we're going with a lot of General Motors stuff right at this time.
Is that the plan to stick with GM?
Yeah, we're open, but in the pipeline right now, we're staying with the General Motors. We do have the GT, which of course is the Ford product, but
That's right.
we try to we're staying away from a lot of what a lot of other companies doing. And I'm sure you've seen there's a lot of people doing the Broncos and some of that. So we try to steer away from that, do our own thing, try to be our own company, and do something unique that nobody else does.
Well, I think it's clear you guys are being successful in that regard, and I'm very excited to see what you guys put out next. From your kind of background and doing this for 38 years, is there a dream car that is not on the drawing board yet that you'd love to see get there?
I'm a purist when it comes to that, so I don't know if my favorite car is the Impalas, so I like the 62, 3, 4 Impalas. Whether or not we'd ever get to an electric on it because of the frame style, it's got an X style frame on it. We may look at it as we go down the line, but it'll probably be a little while.
Fair enough. Do you guys do test drives if someone is interested in one of these trucks? Do they come on down and drive one?
Absolutely. They can come out. They can hit us up on the internet at info@southfieldclassics.com. They message us. They're interested in coming out. They can come out and do a test drive. We're going to have an event probably in the fall, which I haven't hammered down all the details on it, but I'll reach out to you and give you those details where we'll have like a ride and drive open house where they can come check out the new facility, check out what we're building, get out in the cars and ride around do some burnouts in the GT40 and have some fun.
Awesome. That sounds great. And anyone listening, make sure to check in the description here. I'll have all the links for getting in touch with these folks. But as we're kind of rounding out the conversation here, a couple of other questions for you, Dan. What do you think is the most misunderstood thing about building EVs?
I think a lot of people spend too much time thinking about the environmental effects that it has. Yeah, that's great. It's great for the environment. It cuts down on emissions, it cuts down on all the things. I think a lot of them miss the performance aspect of it. That you look, it's still a hot rod, man. These things are super fast. The technology is there that brings it. It's a future of where hot rodding is going. No matter what, we're all going to have to move to that. Eventually, gas burning, ice engine, ice is going to be a thing of the past. What I tell everybody, and I've said this several times, they told Henry Ford that the automobile would never take the place of a horse-drawn carriage, and it did. So basically, that's where at that beginning stages in the electric vehicle thing, a lot of people are seeing that's the future. That's where we're going. Uh, they kind of it's good for we're not into the environment. We want to burn gas and all that stuff, but that's just a preconceived notion. I mean, these are just as fast. In a lot of cases, I can smoke you. So
Yeah, maybe that's the part to focus on for people who
correct.
like speed and performance.
That's right.
Well, I couldn't agree more. This is really exciting stuff, and I learned a bunch today talking with you. Thank you for carving out the time, and I'll look forward to catching up with you more in the future.
Sounds great, sir, and I appreciate you having me on.